Atlantia vivere, Atlantia vincere, Atlantia victor, Atlantia vivere, Agartha vivere, Shambhala vivere, Lemuria vivere, Urantia vivere, Akasha vivere, Dracona vivere, Lir, Mur, Sulka vivere, the Insects and Horses and Casses vivere, the Immortals, the Great Immortals, the Undead Immortals, the Vampires, the Werewolves vivere. My dear friends, this is a new video for my greatest company, AMD. I have invested $2 billion. Agartha has invested $2 billion of my own money because I have stayed now 1,330 days since April 19th, 2013 in the test of Agartha, plus the 100 days before, 90 days plus 7 days since 12th of January 2013. I am now in the 38th cycle and I have grown a big beard, you see. I look like a terrorist, or like my father, or like the Tsar of Russia, the Tsar of Holy Mother Russia. And I wish to speak only to AMD now. Because, you know, I understand the ethics of America. I understand that people of Vulture have banned me for the 5th time, although they are my company, because I haven't paid them $48.80 and because they remove money from my account are really bad times. And these two companies are very much like alike, because at Vulture we have great servers, very fast servers. We don't have GPUs. We have a good strategy from the beginning. It was a good company, but now it is falling behind because our dedicated servers have very small 120 gigabytes SSDs, and we don't have GPUs at Baltic servers. We can have GPUs for $30 per month plus the cost of the servers. They have NVIDIA cards, 750 Ti's. They also have AMD cards and or ATI cards, 390X and 390. You know, at AMD we had a great card, the Fury and the Fury X. Very good performance. Unfortunately, another half-baked product which didn't sell very well because it had heat problems and driver problems. And now there are 6 months since 6 months have passed since I have announced to the world that we are going to smash Intel into pieces, to turn them into a pasta with our 32 cores, 64 threads processors. And yes, I feel that my money, our money, were good invested. On 13th of December we are going to launch at AMD, or AMD is going to launch finally after 6 months, the Zen processors. But I feel it is already too late. Intel has now 32 cores, 64 threads also coming to compete with AMD Naples. And we decided to skip the 10 nanometer process, which I oppose, because we can have 64 cores and 128 threads on 10 nanometers and 256 cores and 512 threads on 7 nanometers. Instead of that, we have decided for the Starship model with only 48 cores and 92 threads. So if we are going to launch on 13th of December, if I believe what is written on various tech sites, very expensive processors at the level of Intel, and it is good, it will make us money in the beginning, but we are going to lose trust and momentum. We have to understand that Intel is a shrewd company. They have used a lot of marketing and good business practices to put themselves first. Not bad business practices, but good processors. They don't have half-baked products like we had in the past, and therefore people trust them more. And because they had such a monopoly, and because they asked people and on tech sites and on various computer stores to use only Intel processors, they have now a monopoly both on the desktop market and on the server market, which is very bad for us. I recently wanted to purchase or to rent a server from Herzner.de, and with 38 or 31 euros, 31 euros plus VAT, 20% VAT, I got a really good Intel 8-core 920 server with 2 times 2 terabytes hard drives and 48 gigabytes of DDR2 or DDR3, I believe, memory. I wanted to get an Opteron server, but there were only 2 Opteron servers and they both costed about 68 euros. Yes, there were 12 cores, but people don't know them very well. There was a time when people at the supercomputer company at Cray.com used exclusively in their entry levels, also in their superior level machine or supercomputers, they only used our AMD Opteron processors. This has happened in 2010 after we have launched the 16 cores, but it was a long time ago. If we count again, we have 4 cores on 65 nanometers, 8 cores on 45 nanometers, 16 cores on 32 nanometers, 32 cores on 22 nanometers, 64 cores on 40 nanometers, 128 cores on 10 nanometers, and 256 cores on 7 nanometers. So I wish to insist that in order to beat up Intel in those markets, we have to either have a lower price point or a better performance. Yes, I have seen on wccftech.com some benchmarks about whom I believe they will be contradicted by the reality or so-called reality. When we are going to launch finally our processors, many people at hard OCP and Anantech and on hardware and on other places like Xbit Labs are going to say that we are slightly worse than Intel processors. They forget that in real world you need integer calculations more than a floating point calculations. So your games, your video, your music, everything uses integer calculations, and then we have twice the number of integer units per floating point units, while Intel is on reverse. They have 4 integer cores and 8 FPU cores. We have 8 integer cores and 4 FPU cores. Yes, I know that Intel is long and AMD processors are short and fat. I know about everything. I know about the socket wars and so on and so forth. But it was a philosophy that we need to maintain our socket AM3 and AM4 Plus for a very long time, not to switch them every year like Intel does. Intel did, they earned a lot of money also on the chipset market, but by switching their sockets every year, and people complied with that. People swallow their sockets every year, they swallow their very cryptic process of the denominations and performance denominations, but I believe that we need to focus on the whole picture, because we are now living in a world where everyone is focused on what they are doing with the processor rather on the hardware itself. Many people in countries like Romania or China or India or Russia who have small companies like I do, like IHL Data Corporation. I cannot find anywhere in Cluj or anywhere in Bucharest or in Romania a dual socket motherboard for Opteron processor. Maybe I can find for Intel. But if I wish to buy AMD Opteron processors and build a professional server for my company, I cannot find them. So probably, if I wish to move on a host server at my home, I will buy an 8-core 16 threads Opteron processor, which I believe will not be enough for my needs. Yes, most people game, they don't create, but those people who are gaming and only using Facebook and music and films and so on, they don't spend more than $200 per processors. On the other hand, you have in these very poor countries, which make up about 7 billion people on this planet, because not everyone is a millionaire or a billionaire, not everyone lives in North America or Western Europe. These people have big companies and small companies, and also in governmental organizations. They use here in Romania Windows workstations. They are not workstations, they are very poor PCs from 10 years ago. Athlons 64s and Intel Pentiums and so on, yes. And Athlon 64 was a great success, particularly because it was cheaper, a little bit cheaper than Intel, about 30% or 50% cheaper, 30% cheaper, and it had better performance per clock. So I don't believe that people in these poor countries care very much about TDP. How much heat does it produce? How much current, electrical current does it consume? I believe they seek to have a very simple setup. So that is why I insisted, but you rejected my ideas, that we have to offer also on the desktop market a 16-core 32 threads processor, which will beat the Intel offerings on the desktop market. People follow the leader, and we need to be generous. We need to be generous and to offer on the mobile market, on the phone market, or the nano processor market, which is a different topic altogether. We have sold our division to ARM, and now we need to recreate our octave processors, or how they were called. We need to be generous and to integrate our world. You see, now everyone is on Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a CDN service which is free, and all the big players, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Rackspace, SoftLayer, they are all on Cloudflare. If you do a DNS inspect, if you use a simple tool to inspect the domain name servers records, you will see that they are all using Cloudflares. Not Anirban and Fiona, but Kale, and they are using paid plans for Cloudflare. Okay, so also on my 7 websites, IHL Data.com, IHL Space, Democrația Virtuală.com, Democrația Atlanta.org, Atlantia Online, and Virtual Democracy.org and eWorld site, I am also using Cloudflare, because Cloudflare spreads my 55 domains and 72 or 73 databases and 27, I don't know what, FTP things, and 7 main websites all across the world, so people can listen to They Share Music on podcast at Atlantia Online from any location on my blue planet, which is my head. So we need to be generous. I am thinking that is why I'm stopping. I am thinking about the great offer of IBM. IBM is offering $120,000. $120,000, my dear friends. For every startup on my blue planet, 7 billion people, if they make 7 billion websites and they call them business startups, they can get $120,000 each. So IBM is practically renting the software thing there. So I told AMD, I told you to buy Vultr and to bring GPU servers and powerful dedicated servers. Get them from Chopa, get them from Asia, and move them to America or to Romania or to Western Europe, and use them in the same manner that IBM is using software. IBM is using the entire software infrastructure to give it freely to the world. So now you have a small firm was asked six months ago when I made that free $500 present as software. They gave me $500 in credits, and they asked me, "Oh, your IHL data corporation, is it registered?" No, it is not registered yet, because I'm living in Romania and blah blah blah. And I have passed on their offer to give me $120,000. You imagine, with $120,000 I can run my $500 server for, I don't know, 240 months. Yes, 240 months means 20 years. Yes, 20 years, because there are 12 months in a year. So I have also seen generous offers from 10 gbps.io, which have 100 gigabits per second or 10 gigabytes per second transfer speed. I see that they are offering a free trial to everyone on this planet who cares to go to their site. So there are many things and many layers. Remember, it doesn't matter that most people will not use our 16 cores or 32 cores or 256 cores, 512 threads, which I hope they will appear really soon, because we need to beat Intel really hard. I believe that there are some people here at AMD that do not really understand what we are facing. We have a great moment in our history, because my $2 billion were spent, or our $2 billion were spent. We have made great processors, yes, but if we do not price them correctly, or if we do not flood the market in a right manner after we have built this great product, then people are going to say that it is another not half-baked product. It is a very expensive product from AMD, and they trust Intel better because of their marketing, and it is going to be a disaster for us. We need desperately to use this advantage that we have now. Buy Vultr, put all your AMD new Zen processor in there, allow your people, be generous, give back to the world, initiate a program like IBM is doing. Also, in virtual reality, we can initiate a program like this, free 1 month for everyone, experience virtual reality, a headset or something like that. Yes, it is very easy to get creative. And yes, I hope a good return on my money, on our money. Thank you for your $180 million. I have heard that some of them were used for the cause, the humanity cause. They were given to my mother and her boyfriend. Doesn't matter. I need everything under control, because I can put them to good use, to the good of humanity. I have started this charity program to give the virtual democracy to the world, and I have transferred my website every month because I have no money left. Please send me to a full minute. Because I truly believed that this planet and all the races and all the species, the dragons, the humans, I'm a Dovahkiin, by the way, the single cell organisms, or intelligent, conscious and spiritual people from Agartha and Shambhala, the dolphins, the whales, the horses, the cats, the bacteria, and everyone else, the diamonds from Urantia, the trees from Akasha, they all need to come together, and everyone will have one vote. Everyone has as many votes as they want, because everyone can propose any given number of laws. And Cloudflare also has anti-DDoS attacks, and they prevent people from, like, the Mariana, which is an AI. And also this is another sphere of interest. We need to bring artificial intelligence and robots to the market, because there was a tech festival in Cluj. I have not participated, unfortunately, and I have seen real robots sold for $10,000 there, and I will get one next year. So goodbye, my friends. I love you. I am very proud of you. Please come sooner to the market with these incredible products, and we need to price them accordingly, and we need to price them a little bit lower than Intel, and our performance must be greater than Intel in all of these markets: the server market, the supercomputer market, the integrated phones market or nanoprocessor, and of course the desktop market, which is not bad, because you know people say that the worst setup in the world are desktop full of dead mice and so on and so forth, but they are really cheap computers. Okay, good.